Shabbos, Parshas Mikaitz, and Chanukah. Chanukah is a time of miracles. It's a time for us to reflect on all the miracles that HaKadosh Baruch Hu did for us by Yomim Hoheim Bazman Hazeh, in those days, at this time of the year. And it's also a time for us to reflect on our own personal miracles that HaKadosh Baruch Hu does for us. There are two types of miracles that HaKadosh Baruch Hu does for us. One is a Nes Nigla, one is an open, clear miracle, no question about it. And then there's a Nes Nister, a hidden miracle. And possibly on both Chanukah would be a time for a Nes Nigla, an open miracle. And Parshas Mikaitz, we might be able to see a hidden miracle. And all this applies to us and to me, to myself personally. The miracle of Purim, the miracle of Chanukah, was a clearly open miracle. The Rashi brings down in Chumash Devarim, in Bereshis, in Devarim Lamed Gimel Pasuk Yud Aleph, Rashi says, incredibly, that before Moshe Rabbeinu was Nifter, he davened for everybody, for all the tribes, and he davened for Klal Yisrael. And Rashi brings down specifically the miracle of the Chashmonoim, that Moshe Rabbeinu saw with Ruach HaKodesh that Asidin Chashmonoi Uvonov Lehilochim Im Hayavonim, that Matisyo, the Chashmonoim, and his sons are destined to battle with the Greeks. V'hispalel Aleihem, Moshe Rabbeinu davened for them. Lefi Shehoyu Mu'otim, because, as we say in Al Anisim, V'rabim B'yad Miyatim, Kadosh Baruch Hu performed a miracle with so few. How many were few? How few were they? And Rashi says, Yud Beis B'nei Chashmonoi Ve'eloza, there were 12 Chashmonoim, 12 sons of the of Matisyahu, the Elazar, and there was another Yid there, Elazar, who joined them. Keneged Kama Revovis, against many myriads. A myriad is 10,000. Many myriads means at least 20,000 people. Many could be. There were 13 people. The Nes Chanukah, 13 people fought and triumphed against myriads, at least 20,000 Yevonim. Could you imagine? Could we comprehend incredible miracles HaKadosh Baruch Hu performed for Klal Yisrael? And I remind myself in my own personal life the incredible miracles that HaKadosh Baruch Hu did for me. About 3 years ago, 2007, in the Yeshiva Kesed Torah, I just finished speaking, and I was stricken with a terrible machla called AVM. It's a machla that, as I will soon tell you, that the hospital that they took me to didn't even know what to do about it. But luckily, Baruch Hashem, Dr. Adam Zeitlin was one of our mispalim, and as I was stricken, he called Hatzalah, and and they whisked me to Booth Memorial Hospital. And I came to Booth Memorial Hospital. They didn't know what it was. They didn't know. And they sent me to Cornell. And Baruch Hashem, in Cornell, Dr. Howard Rina, Baruch Hashem, was my shliach. Shluchah Rachmana, the Rebbeinu Shalom sent him to be so kind as to save my life. And while I was in the hospital, I contacted another 4 life-threatening illnesses. I had this AVM, and in the hospital I caught pneumonia, meningitis, C. diff, and each of these sicknesses, by themselves were life-threatening, and I had all of them together. AVM, which was the biggie, pneumonia, meningitis, and C. diff. And the Rebbeinu Shalom performed a miracle that I'm still walking in the streets, and it's incredible. This is, to me, a clear Nes Nigla. Hanukkah was a Nes Nigla. It was a clear and open miracle, and to me, all these sicknesses that I had, and each one of them was life-threatening, and Baruch Hashem, the Rebbeinu Shalom helped me survive. So for this, I give Shevach and Heidoah LaHashem. I used to daven after I was out of the hospital already, and I said, Brachos v'Heidoos l'Shimcha HaGodel v'HaKodesh Al Shech Yisanu. I praise Hashem that He let me live, v'Kiyam Tonu, let me exist. Brachos v'Heidoos l'Shimcha HaGodel v'HaKodesh Al Shech Yisanu v'Kiyam Tonu. And I daven Kein Techayenu Uskaimenu, so you should continue to let me live. This is the Nes Nigla that happened with me. And anybody listening to this should think about Nisecha Shebechol Yom Imanu. As we say in Moedim, we should think about all the miracles that Hashem does for us. And we should appreciate the goodness and kindness and greatness of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. In Parshas Mikaitz, I think that we might be able to see the other miracles that we mentioned, namely the Nes Nister. In Parshas Mikaitz, we might be able to see the Nes Nister that we mentioned before. It says in Parshas Mikaitz that Parai had 2 dreams, and the dreams about the cows and about the ears of corn. Vayhi ba'boker, and it came to pass in the morning vatipoem ruchai, that his spirit was troubled. He wanted to know what's happening. What is the message in these dreams? Nobody could give him an answer until he was informed that there's a Yosef b'mishmar in the prison who knows how to interpret dreams. So the pasuk says, "Vayishlach Paroi sent, Vayikra es Yosef, and called Yosef." In pasuk Bereshis Mem Aleph pasuk Yudaled, Vayiritzuhu min haber, they rushed him out of the jail. What's the rush? Why did they rush him? The simple interpretation is that the servants of Parai saw how disturbed he was, and how vatipoem ruchai, that he was so aggravated. He wanted to know what this dream is all about. So his good servants wanted to help him out, and they rushed Yosef out of the bar, out of the jail. That's the simple. The Sipurna has a different take on this. The Sipurna says, "Vayiritzu min habar kiderech kol teshuas Hashem shenasis k'mayrega." This is the way Hashem brings Yeshuas. Suddenly, it came the time that Hashem had decreed that he's supposed to remain in the jail, and now the time was over. So it wasn't, on the surface it seems that it was because the servants wanted to help Paro out and get him out of his aggravation. And the reality was that Hashem was behind the scenes, and Hashem decreed that 2 years is up, and now is the time for your Yeshua. And we see how involved Hashem, Hashkocha Protis, Hashem is involved in everybody's life, and where sometimes on the surface we think one thing is happening, and in reality Hashem is there behind the scenes, and it's a totally different interpretation. Hashem was there because that was the time decreed that he remain in jail. And in my own personal life, I think that I had a lot of nes nister, where one day I was learning in Yeshiva Chaim Berlin, Mesivta, and my dear beloved friend, Reb Avram Yeshaya Grona, Hashem should send him a refuah shlema b'mehera. He came over to me one day out of nowhere, and he said, "We're going to Telz." I didn't know what, when, where, why. He says, "We're going." I couldn't. He was such a beloved friend of mine, and he wanted to go to Telz, and he wanted me to come with him. So I went. I went to Cleveland. I never heard of Telz. But he insisted. He was such a good friend, and he wanted to go, and I went with him. Little did I realize that in my journey through life, I needed Telz a little bit. I needed it. Because Telz Yeshiva is a yeshiva where people become organized. It's in the air. They don't teach you how to become organized. But it's in the air. And apparently the Rebbeinu Shalom felt that for what I'm going to be doing in life, a little more organization can't hurt me, and I needed this organization. But I didn't realize that right away. It's only later, after other events occurred, that I first put all the pieces together. I think that was the beginning of a nes nister for me. While I was learning in Telz, I lasted there for a few months only, and I had a chavrusa there. His name was Seymour Applebaum. I haven't seen him for years. I don't know where he is. Who lived in Williamsburg. And I was a chavrusa with him. And he said, "You know, you want to leave, and I want to leave. And I would like to go to Chafetz Chaim Yeshiva in Williamsburg." Chafetz Chaim was then in Williamsburg. "And I want you to come with me, and we'll learn b'chavrusa." I said, "Okay." I'd never heard of Chafetz Chaim Yeshiva, and I surely never heard of the great Goin and Tzaddik, the Rosh Yeshiva, Goin Reb Henach Leibowitz, Zeichat Tzaddik L'Bracha. But little did I know that my studying, my learning under Goin Reb Henach, I became very close with him. And I have, my goal in life has become, because of the hashpah, the influence that he had on me, of Lilmaid Ulalamed, to learn Torah and to go and spread Yiddishkeit and spread Torah, that became my goal in life. Little did I know. I went to Tells because my dear beloved friend asked me to come with him, and I went. And I needed that organization, apparently. And when I was in Tells, I met this Seymour Applebaum, who was going to Chavetz Chaim, and I went to Chavetz Chaim. And that's how I became very close with the Rebbeinu Shalom. Was leading me to my Rebbe Mufak, Ragoin Repenach Leibowitz, in learning and in Musar and in Hashkofa and in Habotzas HaTorah. And that really set my goal for life. And I didn't even know that all this was happening while it was happening. But after it happened, I put the pieces together, and I feel that this was definitely a Nes Nister. So everybody, again, has to, when they say Moedim, we have to thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu for all the Nisim that He does for us. We have to thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu for the Nes Nisim Nigloim, for the Nes Nigla, for the Nes Nista. Rebbeinu Shalom is constantly in our lives and guiding us and helping us, and we have to learn to appreciate this. Even after I left Lakewood, even after I left Chavetz Chaim and I went to Lakewood, I kept coming back to always be with my Rebbe, Hagoin Reb Henach Leibowitz, Zecher Tzadik Livracha. And I thank Hashem for all the kindness He has done for me, and everybody should see to apply to themselves Nisim Nikloim and Nisim Nistorim, and thank and appreciate whatever Hashem does for us.